Hi, today we're going to talk about Boolean expressions, and this is a warm-up for a more complicated concept that we're going to get into the next screencast. But I just want to cover it kind of on its own in case the concept's difficult and you might want some time before the next screencast to let it sink in a little bit. So I am going to show you some Boolean expressions, and I'll explain what that word means in a second. But if I say 5 is less than or equal to 6, that is a true statement, whereas if I assert that 7 is less than or equal to 6, that is a false statement. And so I'm using the operator less than or equals to with values on the left and values on the right. And less than or equal to, the less than or equal operator always returns either true or false depending on whether the overall expression is true. And there are other examples of Boolean operators, obviously greater than or equal to. So if I were to assert that 5 is greater than or equal to 6, that would of course be false. But if I were to assert that 7 is greater than or equal to 6, that would be true. And the operators that we're going to cover today are these. I'll write them in a comment over here. I'm going to say less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Are the operators that we're going to cover today. There are other Boolean operators, but we won't get into those. This is just something we kind of need a quick concept that we need to get out of the way so that I can show you some more interesting things in future screencasts. But if I start with these, I can try them out, and let's try to make 4 true statements. So I know that 5, well, let me use some new numbers. You're probably tired of 5, 6, and 7. I know that 10 is less than 13. I know that 13 is less than or equal to itself. I know that 97 is greater than 44, but I'm going to demonstrate that you can also have a variable, so I'm going to say that x equals 44, and then 97 should be greater than x. And finally, I'm going to say that 97 is also greater than or equal to x. And so when I run this program here, which is basically a 6-line program, but it's really only 5 lines if you disregard the comment, I expect 4 trues, and that is indeed what I get. And if I were to reverse the arrow essentially in the last expression, I would expect to have 3 trues and a false. So Booleans basically are values that can either have the value true, which is sort of a special value in CoffeeScript, or the value false. And it turns out that you can just type those directly into CoffeeScript itself. That CoffeeScript understands the concept of false as kind of its own data type. So we've basically demonstrated that Boolean operators can have numeric, let me show it up here which is a little more explicit. If you have a Boolean operator like less than or equal to, and you have number data types on either side of it, the expression that you get when you evaluate the whole operation actually returns a new data type that's called a Boolean data type. So this operator is actually converting, you can think of it as transforming from numeric data types to a Boolean data type. Okay, that's it for Boolean operators. In the next screencast we'll show how to use this in a more interesting application.